Reddit, what have your pets done that is worryingly smart? I have a 3-month-old pup who got dirt in her eye one day. I kept tearing up, and she held it partly shut for a few hours. During that time I felt really bad for her, and handed out a lot of treats. Since then, when I'm eating, she begs by winking that eye with a tiny whimper. Her wink is non-stop. If she's called by someone else in the home she looks at them with perfect eyes. I get the broken eye once she gets the goods fully working eyes. She is a mix from a stray. My cat's done something similar. My husband and him were playing, and somehow he managed to twist his foot. For a month after, every time he walked past a room my husband was in he'd start limping. He made sure my husband saw it every time. Once he was safely past the door he would resume walking completely sound. We had a dachshund growing up, and he could tell when my mom was going to have a seizure. He would start circling her over and over, barking. Ironically, he ended up with epilepsy himself, but it didn't shorten his lifespan. They helped each other out. He lived 5 years. I miss that dog. Edited to my mom had epilepsy since she was 15. Unrelated to dog, which she got in her 30s. Our dog wasn't trained. He just did it. Our dachshund had seizures too, where he couldn't walk, would cramp and vomit a little. He didn't had it often though. He lived for about 15 years. Every day when my brother and I pull in the driveway from school we can see our dog on my brother's bed in the window above the garage, where he knows he isn't allowed to be. When we walk into the house he is laying behind the living room couch and picks his head up and looks at us like has been sleeping there all day. My dog used to do something similar. She loved sleeping on my mom's bed, but she also knew that my mom didn't like her up there. She was also aware that the only person who cared was my mom. I'd come home from school and she'd be chilling on my mom's bed not batting an eye. When my mom's car pulled into the driveway, we'd all hear that distinct little thump of her jumping off my mom's bed. She'd come downstairs so that my mom would think she wasn't up there. I had a dog that did that. She would have gotten away with it, except she left paw prints in the vacuum tracks in the living room. We never went in there. I had a yabby in my freshwater tank. That is a genius. I one day watched him gather some food pellets into his cave, wait for the fishito to eat the rest, then a few minutes later place them in front of the cave in trance, then attacked and ate a fishy that came to eat the pellets. He stockpiled his meal to later bait an even better meal. That ducker is in his own tank now. Edit, I done that words good. One of my dogs knows how to open door handles. The other one can't even figure out that he's not supposed to eat rocks. It's a mixed bag with my pets. That's kinda how it is with dogs in general. With some, you start thinking of them almost like a person. Others, you look into their eyes and just think, there's not a whole lot going on, is there? The really weird thing is that both of my dogs can't survive without each other. The smart one has such high separation anxiety that he needs his buddy for emotional support. The dumb one, well, he lost a fight to a mouse once and has a hound dog. When I get asked to do some things, it'll groan jokingly and do the thing anyway. Now, when I call my dog while she was sleeping, or if I accidentally nudge her at the foot of the bed, then she groans with attitude like I would. Kind of adorable, kind of freaky. My dog does this too. I swear he has such an attitude. I have to tell her to watch her tone sometimes. I'm secretly proud of her, but she can't know that. My cat's teamed up and got the tub of butter off the kitchen worktop, took it outside, removed the lid, and had an all-you-can-eat butter party. A friend's cat figured out how to get the cover off the butter container so he could lick it. The funny part is he learned how to put it back on, so my friend and his wife would uncover it and find huge dents in the middle of the stick. It took them months to figure out what was going on, and now they have to buy locking butter dishes. They figured out that if they want the toy or bone the other has to go to the front door and bark like a stranger is walking up to the house. When the other dog shows up to assist in barking, run like hell to get the toy. It's not just clever but dishonest in the worst kinda way. Just wait till they start using it to steal your spot on the couch. Growing up, I had a yard that was surrounded by fence, except at the entrance, where the cars came in at the front. My dog knew she wasn't allowed to go outside the yard, so when we'd call her and she was out gallivanting, she would go to the neighbor's yard in the back, hop the fence, and come back over, then strut around the backside to the front like, hey, I've been here the whole time. I only found out because one day I was walking around the house calling for her and caught her. Sneaky beach. This see similar to my dog. Before I wouldn't allow him on one of the couches a rocking La Z boy style one, but he loved it. At night he would sleep in it, but if he heard me coming downstairs, he'd quickly jump off, run over to his bed, and try to time it so it looked like he was coming from his bed as I walked down the last set of steps. Brilliant plan, except I could still see the chair rocking. I had a cat that learned how to open the fridge, and then my dog started begging my cat for food, and then the cat started getting into the fridge just to feed the dog. I patiently await the day where my pets decide to overthrow me and have me fixed. Him not fighting it, that'd only make it worse in the long run. That's hilarious. It reminds me of a cat and dog I had a long time ago. The cat was always up on the counter and knocked leftover food down for the dog, who was jumping up and down with joy. That taught me to never leave any food out anymore after he ate half a chocolate cake that way. We were looking after a friend's dog. We came home from work in the evening with a huge pile of dirt by the front door. The dog, unlike every other time we came home, was lying on the couch looking very guilty about something. You know the look. It took us forever to figure out where the dirt came from. We had an old flower pot downstairs on a shelf. The pot had been emptied by the front door and the pot returned to the shelf like nothing had happened. I have 2 horses, Red and Mickey. They are yarded next to each other, and there is enough of a gap in the fence that a clever horse may work out that they can just manage to pinch the other's hay through it. Red took it a step further and realized that if he could steal Mickey's hay, Mickey could steal his. So he waits until Mickey is distracted by his bucket feed, and then Red takes his own hay from his own feeder and deposits it across the yard where it's safe. He then goes back and takes Mickey's hay and deposits it where it is safe. Then Red eats his hard feed into lots of hay. We had to move all the hay feeders. My dog knows my caller ID. I sometimes need to call home from my cell, and our home phone speaks the incoming call's caller ID. The only time my dog ever howls is when I call, and the answering machine says my ID. Stun it when my mom is off somewhere else in the house and can't hear the phone ringing. She doesn't do it for any other phone call, even if I'm not home. I also tried calling while I'm still home to see if I can get her to howl, but she just looks at me like I'm an idiot. My dog also has 2 bowls, one for food and one for water. Whenever I give her some crushed ice to lick in the water bowl, she'll pick up chunks of the ice and put them in the food bowl instead. Apparently, solids equals food bowl, even if said solids turn into water. Edit. Seems like people like my dog. She learns a lot of things on her own and doesn't really care what I think, which can cause me a lot of headaches. But I won't trade her for anything in the world. Here's a sweet pic. http://imga.com/a/dhb1b. So I don't get a lot of text messages, but the Deliveroo notifications make the same noise as my texts do. My dog has learned that when my phone goes off as a text message, that there will be someone at the door and eagerly awaits seeing them at the window. My cat figured out how to fill up my bathtub. He learned how to close the drain and would turn the water handle and would just sit there and watch the tub slowly fill up. It took me weeks to figure out what was going on. He may be planning to drown you. Also watch out for any toaster or head rear moving activity. Be careful.